CUNY Global City. The public CUNY system comprises 25 institutions across all 5 boroughs. The Public State University of New York, SUNY, system's campuses in New York City include SUNY Downstate Health Sciences University, Fashion Institute of Technology, SUNY Maritime College, and SUNY College of Optometry. New York City is home to such notable private universities as Beloit College, Columbia University, Cooper Union, Fordham University, New York University, New York Institute of Technology, Rockefeller University, Mercy University, Cornell Tech and Yeshiva University. Several of these are ranked among the top universities in the world, while some of the world's most prestigious institutions like Princeton University and Yale University remain in the New York metropolitan area. Much of the scientific research in the city is done in medicine and the life sciences. In 2019, the New York metropolitan area ranked first by share of published articles in life sciences. New York City has the most postgraduate life sciences degrees awarded annually in the United States, and in 2012, 43,523 licensed physicians were practicing in New York City. There are 127 Nobel laureates with roots in local institutions as of 2004. Health. Main articles: Healthcare in New York City, NYC Health and Hospitals, and New York City Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. New York City is a center for healthcare and medical training, with employment of over 750,000 in the city's healthcare sector. Private hospitals in New York City include the Hospital for Special Surgery, Lenox Hill Hospital, Long Island Jewish Medical Center, Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, Mount Sinai Hospital, New York Presbyterian Hospital, and NYU Langone Health. Medical schools include SUNY Downstate College of Medicine in Brooklyn, Albert Einstein College of Medicine in the Bronx, and CUNY School of Medicine, Touro College of Osteopathic Medicine, Columbia University Vigelos College of Physicians and Surgeons, Weill Cornell Medicine, Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai, and New York University School of Medicine in Manhattan. NYC Health and Hospitals, HHC, is a public benefit corporation established in 1969 which operates the city's public hospitals and a network of outpatient clinics. As of 2021, HHC is the largest American municipal healthcare system with $10.9 billion in annual revenues. HHC serves 1.4 million patients, including more than 475,000 uninsured city residents. HHC operates 11 acute care hospitals, 4 skilled nursing facilities, 6 diagnostic and treatment centers, and more than 70 community-based primary care sites, serving primarily the city's poor and working-class residents. HHC's Metro Plus Health Plan is one of New York City's largest providers of government-sponsored health insurance, enrolling 670,000 city residents as of June 2022. HHC's facilities annually provide service to millions of New Yorkers, interpreted in more than 190 languages. The best-known hospital in the HHC system is Bellevue Hospital, the oldest public hospital in the United States, established in 1736. Bellevue is the designated hospital for treatment of the president and other world leaders should they require care while in New York City. The city banned smoking in most parts of restaurants in 1995 and prohibited smoking in bars, restaurants and places of public employment in 2003. Pharmacies are banned from selling smoked and vaped products in New York State. New York City enforces a right to shelter law guaranteeing shelter to anyone who needs it, regardless of their immigration, socioeconomic, or housing status, which entails providing adequate shelter and food. As a result, while New York has the highest total homeless population of American cities, only 5% were unsheltered by the city, representing a significantly lower percentage of outdoor homelessness than in other cities. As of 2023, there were 92,824 homeless people sleeping nightly in the shelter system. Public safety. Main articles: New York City Police Department, New York City Fire Department, Crime in New York City, and Law Enforcement in New York City. The New York Police Department, NYPD, is the largest police force in the United States, with more than 36,000 sworn officers. Members of the NYPD are frequently referred to by politicians, the media, and their own police cars by the nickname, New York's Finest. The city saw a spike in crime in the 1970s through 1990s. Crime overall has trended downward in New York City since the 1990s. Violent crime decreased more than 75% from 1993 to 2005, and continued decreasing during periods when the nation as a whole saw increases. The NYPD's Stop and Frisk program was declared unconstitutional in 2013 as a policy of indirect racial profiling of black and mixed residents, although claims of disparate impact continued in subsequent years. The Stop and Frisk program had been widely credited as being behind the decline in crime. The rates continued dropping in the years after the program ended. The city set a record high of 2,245 murders in 1990 and hit a near 70-year record low of 289 in 2018. The number of murders and the rate of 3.3 per 100,000 residents in 2017 was the lowest since 1951. New York City recorded 386 murders in 2023, a decline of 12% from the previous year. New York City had one of the lowest homicide rates among the 10 largest U.S. cities at 5.5 per 100,000 residents in 2021. New York City has stricter gun laws than most other cities in the United States. A license to own any firearm is required, and the NY SAFE Act of 2013 banned assault weapons. New York State had the 5th lowest gun death rate of the states in 2020. Organized crime has long been associated with New York City, beginning with the 40 Thieves and the Roach Guards in the Five Points neighborhood in the 1820s, followed by the Tongs in the same neighborhood, which ultimately evolved into Chinatown, Manhattan. The 20th century saw a rise in the mafia, dominated by the Five Families, as well as in gangs, including the Black Spades. The mafia and gang presence has declined in the city in the 21st century. The Fire Department of New York, FDNY, provides fire protection, technical rescue, primary response to biological, chemical, and radioactive hazards, and emergency medical services. FDNY faces multifaceted firefighting challenges in many ways unique to New York. In addition to responding to building types that range from wood-frame single-family homes to high-rise structures, the FDNY responds to fires that occur in the New York City subway. Secluded bridges and tunnels, as well as large parks and wooded areas that can give rise to brush fires, also present challenges. The FDNY is headquartered at 9 Metro Tech Center in downtown Brooklyn, and the FDNY Fire Academy is on Randall's Island. Transportation. Main article: Transportation in New York City. Rapid transit. Mass transit in New York City, most of which runs 24 hours a day, accounts for 1 in every 3 users of mass transit in the country, and 2/3 of the nation's rail riders live in the New York City metropolitan area. Buses. New York City's public bus fleet runs 24/7 and is the largest in North America. The New York City bus system serves the most passengers of any city in the nation. In 2022, MTA New York City Transit's buses served 483.5 million trips, while MTA regional bus operations handled 100.3 million trips. The Port Authority Bus Terminal is the city's main intercity bus terminal and the world's busiest bus station, serving 250,000 passengers on 7,000 buses each workday in a building opened in 1950 that was designed to accommodate 60,000 daily passengers. A 2021 plan announced by the Port Authority would spend $10 billion to expand capacity and modernize the facility. In 2024, the Port Authority announced plans for a new terminal that would feature a glass atrium at a new main entrance on 41st Street. Rail. Main article, New York City Subway. The New York City subway system is the largest rapid transit system in the world when measured by stations in operation, with 472, and by length of routes. Nearly all of New York's subway system is open 24 hours a day, in contrast to the overnight shutdown common to most subway systems. The New York City subway is the busiest metropolitan rail transit system in the Western Hemisphere, with 1.70 billion passenger rides in 2019. Public transport is widely used in New York City. 54.6% of New Yorkers commuted to work in 2005 using mass transit. This is in contrast to the rest of the country, where 91% of commuters travel in automobiles to their workplace. According to the New York City Comptroller, workers in the New York City area spend an average of 6 hours and 18 minutes getting to work each week, the longest commute time in the nation among large cities. New York is the only American city in which a majority, 52%, of households do not have a car. Only 22% of Manhattanites own a car. Due to their high usage of mass transit, New Yorkers spend less of their household income on transportation than the national average, saving $19 billion annually on transportation compared to other urban Americans. New York City's commuter rail network is the largest in North America. The rail network, connecting New York City to its suburbs, consists of the Long Island Railroad, Metro-North Railroad, and New Jersey Transit. The combined systems converge at Grand Central Terminal and New York Penn Station and contain more than 250 stations and 20 rail lines. The elevated air train JFK in Queens connects JFK International Airport to the New York City subway and the Long Island Railroad. For intercity rail, New York City is served by Amtrak, whose busiest station by a significant margin is Penn Station on the west side of Manhattan, from which Amtrak provides connections to Boston, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C. along the Northeast Corridor, and long-distance train service to other North American cities. The Staten Island Railway Rapid Transit System solely serves Staten Island, operating 24 hours a day, with access to Manhattan from the St. George Terminal via the Staten Island Ferry. The PATH train links Midtown and Lower Manhattan with Hoboken Terminal and Newark Penn Station in New Jersey, and then those stations with the World Trade Center Oculus across the Hudson River. Like the New York City subway, the PATH operates 24 hours a day, meaning 3 of the 5 American rapid transit systems which operate on 24-hour schedules are wholly or partly in New York. Grand Central Terminal is the world's largest train station by number of rail platforms and acres occupied. Multi-billion-dollar heavy rail transit projects under construction in New York City include the Second Avenue Subway. Main article, Aviation in the New York metropolitan area. New York's airspace is the busiest in the United States and one of the world's busiest air corridors. The three busiest airports in the New York metropolitan area are John F. Kennedy International Airport, with 55.3 million passengers, Newark Liberty International Airport, 43.6 million, and LaGuardia Airport, 29.0 million. 127.9 million travelers used these three airports in 2022. JFK and Newark Liberty were the busiest and fourth busiest U.S. gateways for international air passengers, respectively, in 2023. As of 2011, JFK was the busiest airport for international passengers in North America. Described in 2014 by then Vice President Joe Biden as the kind of airport travelers would see in some third world country, LaGuardia Airport has undergone an $8 billion project with federal and state support that has replaced its aging facilities with modern terminals and roadways. Plans have advanced to expand passenger volume at a fourth airport, Stewart International Airport, near Newburgh, New York, by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Other commercial airports in or serving the New York metropolitan area include Long Island MacArthur Airport, Trenton Mercer Airport and Westchester County Airport. The primary general aviation airport serving the area is Teterboro Airport. Ferries, taxis and trams. Main articles: Staten Island Ferry, NYC Ferry, Taxis of New York City, and Roosevelt Island Tramway. The Staten Island Ferry is the world's busiest ferry, carrying more than 23 million passengers from July 2015 through June 2016 on a 5.2-mile, 8.4 kilometers, route between Staten Island and Lower Manhattan and running 24/7. Other ferry systems shuttle commuters between Manhattan and other locales within the city and the metropolitan area. NYC Ferry, a NYCEDC initiative with routes planned to travel to all 5 boroughs, was launched in 2017. Identified by their color and taxi medallion, the city's 13,587 yellow taxicabs are the only vehicles allowed to pick up riders making street hails throughout the city. Apple green-colored borough taxis can pick up street hails in Upper Manhattan and the 4 outer boroughs. Long dominated by yellow taxis, high-volume for-hire vehicles from Uber and Lyft have provided the most trips in the city since December 2016. When the for-hire vehicles and cabs each had about 10.5 million trips. By October 2023, the 78,000 vehicles for hire combined for 20.3 million trips, while 3.5 million trips were in yellow taxis. The Roosevelt Island Tramway, an aerial tramway that began operation in 1976, transports 2 million passengers per year. The 3,140 feet, 960 m, between Roosevelt Island and 59th Street and 2nd Avenue on Manhattan Island. Cycling network. Main article: Cycling in New York City. New York City has mixed cycling conditions which include urban density, relatively flat terrain, congested roadways with stop-and-go traffic, and many pedestrians. The city's large cycling population includes utility cyclists, such as delivery and messenger services, recreational cycling clubs, and an increasing number of commuters. Cycling is increasingly popular in New York City. In 2022 there were approximately 61,200 people who commuted daily using a bicycle and 610,000 daily bike trips, both nearly doubling over the previous decade. As of 2022, New York City had 1,525 miles, 2,454 kilometers, of bike lanes, including 644 miles, 1,036 kilometers, of segregated or protected bike lanes citywide. Streets and highways. Streets are also a defining feature of the city. New York has been found to lead the world in urban automobile traffic congestion. The Commissioner's Plan of 1811 greatly influenced its physical development. New York City has an extensive web of freeways and parkways, which link the city's boroughs to each other and to North Jersey, Westchester County, Long Island, and southwestern Connecticut through bridges and tunnels. Because these highways serve millions of outer borough and suburban residents who commute into Manhattan, it is common for motorists to be stranded for hours in dense traffic congestion that is a daily occurrence, particularly during rush hour. Congestion pricing in New York City was activated in January 2025, applying to most motor vehicular traffic using the area of Manhattan south of 60th Street, in an effort to encourage commuters to use rapid transit instead. Unlike the rest of the country, New York State prohibits turns on red lights in cities with a population greater than 1 million, to reduce collisions and increase pedestrian safety. In New York City, therefore, all turns on red lights are illegal unless a sign permitting such maneuvers is present. Bridges and tunnels. Further information, list of bridges and tunnels in New York City and Commissioner's Plan of 1811. The boroughs of Manhattan and Staten Island are located on islands with the same names, while Queens and Brooklyn are at the west end of the larger Long Island, and the Bronx is on New York State's mainland. Manhattan Island is linked to the outer boroughs and to New Jersey by an extensive network of bridges and tunnels. The 14-lane George Washington Bridge, connecting Manhattan to New Jersey across the Hudson River, is the world's busiest motor vehicle bridge. The Verrazzano Narrows Bridge, spanning the Narrows between Brooklyn and Staten Island, is the longest suspension bridge in the Americas and one of the world's longest. The Brooklyn Bridge, with its stone neo-Gothic suspension towers, is an icon of the city. Opened in 1883, it was the first steel wire suspension bridge and was the longest suspension bridge in the world until 1903. The Queensboro Bridge was the longest cantilever span in North America from 1909 to 1917. The Manhattan Bridge, opened in 1909, is considered to be the forerunner of modern suspension bridges, and its design served as the model for the major long-span suspension bridges of the early 20th century. The Throgs Neck Bridge and Whitestone Bridge connect Queens and the Bronx, while the Triborough Bridge connects Manhattan, Queens, and the Bronx. The Lincoln Tunnel, which carries 120,000 vehicles a day under the Hudson River between New Jersey and Midtown Manhattan, is the busiest vehicular tunnel in the world. The tunnel was built instead of a bridge to allow unfettered passage of large passenger and cargo ships that sailed through New York Harbor and up the Hudson River to Manhattan's piers. The Holland Tunnel, connecting Lower Manhattan to Jersey City, New Jersey, was the first mechanically ventilated vehicular tunnel when it opened in 1927. The Queens Midtown Tunnel, built to relieve congestion on the bridges connecting Manhattan with Queens and Brooklyn, was the largest non-federal project in its time when it was completed in 1940. The Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, officially the Hugh L. Carey Tunnel, is the longest continuous underwater vehicular tunnel in North America and runs underneath Battery Park, connecting the financial district, Manhattan, to Red Hook, Brooklyn. Government and politics. Main articles: Government of New York City, Politics of New York City, and Elections in New York City. Government. New York City is a metropolitan municipality with a strong mayor-council form of government. The city government is responsible for public education, correctional institutions, public safety, recreational facilities, sanitation, water supply, and welfare services. The City Council is a unicameral body of 51 council members whose districts are defined by geographic population boundaries. Each term for the mayor and council members lasts 4 years and has a 2 consecutive term limit, reset after a 4-year break. The New York City Administrative Code, the New York City Rules, and the City Record are the code of local laws, compilation of regulations, and official journal, respectively. Each borough is coextensive with a judicial district of the state unified court system, of which the criminal court and the civil court are the local courts, while the New York Supreme Court conducts major trials and appeals. Manhattan hosts the first department of the Supreme Court, Appellate Division, while Brooklyn hosts the second department. There are several extrajudicial administrative courts, which are executive agencies and not part of the state unified court system. New York City is divided between, and is host to the main branches of, 2 different U.S. district courts: the District Court for the Southern District of New York, whose main courthouse is on Foley Square in Manhattan and whose jurisdiction includes Manhattan and the Bronx, and the District Court for the Eastern District of New York, whose main courthouse is in Brooklyn and whose jurisdiction includes Brooklyn, Queens, and Staten Island. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit and U.S. Court of International Trade are also based on Foley Square. Politics. The city's mayor is Eric Adams, a Democrat who was elected in 2021. The Democratic Party holds the majority of public offices. As of November 2023, 67% of active registered voters in the city are Democrats and 10.2% are Republicans. New York City has not been carried by a Republican presidential candidate since 1924, and no Republican candidate for statewide office has won all 5 boroughs since the city was incorporated in 1898. In redistricting following the 2020 census, 14 of New York's 26 congressional districts include portions of New York City. New York City is a significant source of political fundraising. The city has a strong imbalance of payments with the national and state governments. It receives 83 cents in services for every $1 it sends to the federal government in taxes, or annually sends $11.4 billion more than it receives back. City residents and businesses also sent an additional $4.1 billion in the 2009-2010 fiscal year to the state than the city received in return. International relations. Main article, List of sister cities of New York City. In 2006, the Sister City program was restructured as New York City Global Partners. New York's historic sister cities are denoted below by the year they joined New York City's partnership network. New York City Global Partners Network. Notable people. Main article, List of people from New York City. See also. 1 Index of New York City related articles. 2 Outline of New York City. Notes.
Wow, that was a lot of information. So I will move it, this one, I will move it to the end of the list. New York City and the New York Metropolitan. So I think we need to read the history of New York City. Maybe just read the New York State. And now I did open all this. But I need a break. It's 2 p.m. because this video is about the whole United States. No, it's not just about New York City or New York, but I have to start somewhere. We have to read about what United States. We need to read all this United States, all this history United States. But let's we need to start somewhere. And then we start New York.